Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and that's right, I'm wearing my Mos Eisley Star Wars t-shirt just for today's occasion of talking about the Mos Eisley Cantina playset. That's the current Hasbro Pulse Haslab that is more than 50% funded. Now on my previous video, I gave you my 3 reasons why I wasn't going to back the thing, and today I'm going to talk about their updated video because it seems to me they kind of answered some of my questions. Let's talk about the figures really quick. They did say that those 3 figures that come with the Haslab, they had no plans to re-release, but I'm pretty sure we can imagine that those figures are eventually going to get re-released. I mean, they have the molds, why would they just toss them? Anyways, those other figures, Greedo and the tiers, right? They basically said now that the tiers have to get unlocked for there to be a future release of that figure. Which is very interesting because if they don't get 11,000 backers, are they saying there's not going to be a Greedo in the vintage collection? That is very strange because he's pretty iconic and very recognizable. So I find it hard to believe that there would never be a Greedo, especially because that one seems to be the one that they would do. How would they tweak it? I don't know. But they said, Hasbro saying that the tier has to get unlocked for there to be a future re-release of that figure. But anyways, in today's video, they showed how you would display your Cantina on shelves. And in my previous Why I'm Not Buying That Cantina, I talked about the space and how I would put it on the shelves, and it's exactly how I kind of imagined. Now in their picture, they have basically the bar, and then they have some booths off to the side. And then up on the top, they had basically the outside, the inside entryway, one of the booths that they just left empty, and they shoved the band tightly into that little alcove. Now, that's always a possibility. If you were to get the extended unit, of course you probably use one of those alcoves for the band. I probably wouldn't get all of them in there. I'd probably have to short the band a few. But anyways, I thought it was very interesting that the way they have the bar set up, it looks pretty good, but it's very unnoticed that one half of the bar then becomes unused. You can't stack patrons on the other side of the bar because the shelf being 12 inches, you need a couple of inches for those figures and the stools to sit. So that bar was pretty much pushed all the way back. Now, around the curve, you could get a guy, but right on the other side of the bar, there were going to be 0 patrons. Now, it's interesting because you couldn't turn it this way, like, and have it sticking out and have, like, the bar in the middle, because it would just be too long for your shelf. Now, I'm in a little bit of a different dilemma because I don't have a standard shelf. I have the Billy bookcase, and this is not 12 inches, it's 11. So I'm losing a whole inch there. I could still do it, but it would still be a little bit short. Now they had the booths over here, which means you couldn't have your bar and the booths behind it. Do you think they should add something like this, like what Extreme Sets does, where it's basically like a diorama, but it's just on cardboard, and from a distance, you know, it's really well done, and they can just do pictures of like a booth and stuff like that to stick back there behind your bar to give it a little bit better aesthetic. Now, that would be kind of a cool addition, especially if you were thinking about like setting it up that way. But I wanted to point out that there's no way to put that bar and 3 booths on one shelf because it's just too long, right? So on the top shelf, they had to put the other booth, and they stuck the band in there right next to the entrance, which is creative. They took a little creative license with that, and they put the band where they wanted to. It looked pretty good, the top shelf. The bottom shelf, not so good, in my opinion, because you saw the back of that shelving unit, and it was just plain. I wish that maybe they would have thought to say, hey, let's throw in a shelf diorama piece. And maybe after this video, maybe they will come up with that idea. I have no idea. But anyways, it was nice of Hasbro to put that little video together and talk about how you could display it on your standard shelves. It doesn't work for everybody. It depends on what kind of shelves you have. If you have those glass Detofs or whatever that IKEA had. If you have this one, it's only 11 inches, not 12. Those are splitting hairs. Anyways, it was nice to see it. It's very modular. You can break it down. You can do a lot of things with it. For people who are getting it, it's a great looking display piece. I don't know how I would do it. It seems like I wish that it was broken down into what it is, because it is not a dream project. It is 3 play sets that they bundled together. And there, I said it. It's 3 play sets bundled together. If they would have just sold the play sets separately, I would have bought at least 1 play set. Anyways, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, have a fantastic day.